Yes, to all the participants, good evening, respected admission officers, PROs, and other senior officers of universities and higher educational institutions. A warm welcome to each of you for today's meet and greet program, a series of events scheduled until November 20th. We are honored by your presence and deeply appreciate your continued engagement and interest, which are truly invaluable to us. We have our speaker of the day, Professor Himalay Reddy, Associate Director, PwC, Hyderabad. Along with Sir, we have one more, Deb Banerjee, Associate Director, PwC. I'll share the screen. About the meet and greet event, the program is designed to foster meaningful dialogues between the junior colleges, principals, university leaders, including vice chancellors, heads of the department, senior professors. This initiative aims to bridge educational gaps by focusing on career opportunities for students and promoting a culture of well-being. In today's competitive environment, students face numerous challenges that can affect both their academic and personal lives. This program provides a platform for educators and experts to share insights, strategies, and best practices to help students navigate these obstacles. Discussions will cover a wide range of topics emerging from career paths and the value of internships to mental health resources and effective support systems. About Himalay, sir, Associate Director at PwC with extensive experience in leadership, project management, and strategic thinking. He holds a postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Kozhikode and has led impactful projects in the education and skill development sectors, having worked with both government and private stakeholders. Himalay Sir's career includes significant roles at PwC, Extra Marks Education, KPMG, and Cognizant. Notable projects include university transformation, digital marketing strategies for leading universities, Vision 2030 for Odisha Skill Development Authority, and establishing retail verticals for edtech startups. Sir's expertise spans stakeholder management, change management, and data analytics. About CAB Educational Services, of helping students achieve their educational and career goals. Our experienced team of career experts provides personalized guidance tailored to students' unique aspirations and strengths. We employ a cutting edge approach that integrates industry leading assessments, individualized counseling, engaging workshops, empowering students to navigate their academic professional paths with clarity and purpose. For over 25 years, we have been committed to supporting young minds as they tackle the complexities of career planning and development. Our mission is to equip students with the insights, tools, and confidence they need to turn their dreams into reality. So, these are the CAP services to students. We provide guidance and web counseling for JEE aspirants, mains, advanced, NEET, TGM set. We also do the B category admissions for BTech, MBBS, BDS, Pharmacy, Biotech, PharmD. So now I request Professor Himalay Reddy sir to take over the session, please.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
I hope my camera is also visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the warm introduction. Although,
Thank you, sir.
minor correction, I'm not a professor yet. So, but thank you regardless. And a very warm welcome to everyone. Very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Uh, I would like to extend my thanks to CAP Consultants as well as Dr. Venkat at Institute for Academic Excellence for giving us the opportunity to conduct this session. And I would also thank all the eminent academicians from across the higher education space to have spared their time. So I have my team also on the call. Dave Banerjee, who's the director with the firm PwC, as well as Vishakha, who is senior consultant with the same team. Uh, just a quick thank you for the introduction, but just to talk about myself in a nutshell, I have been in the higher education space for over 10 years now. I have worked with a varied set of universities across the private and government space. So, and a lot of them have questions about student enrollments and admissions, right? And in the 8 to 10 years that I have spent in this space, there's been a transformative change that the sector has seen. So today's presentation, I hope to cover some of those aspects as to how the landscape of higher education is evolving, and what do institutes need to do in order to change, along the same way, in order to cope with the changes that are happening. So I would like to quickly pull up my presentation. Yeah. So, please, can someone confirm if my presentation is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is visible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, the subject that we will discuss today is navigating changes and innovation in higher education. How would we, while change is the only constant, what are some of these changes that are grappling in higher education, and uh, how will the future be shaped by these changes, and what role can higher education institutions play in this change, right? So, to give a quick context about, I mean, we know about India, right? Like, it's a huge country, and it's the most populous country in the world, and it's witnessing a humongous growth in education. So there's ever since independence, there's been a slight uptick in the gross enrollment ratio. So the number of students opting for higher education saw a remarkable spike in the late 90s and early 2000s, right? And so that means that there are significant opportunities for higher education institutions. So what we will do now is we will explore the historical evolution, how India, since the time we have known India as it is, how has it evolved, and what are some current trends, and what are some future prospects for higher education in India. So we'll go back to 1500 to 500 BC. That is the Vedic era. How education began. So education began as a like preachings between a guru and a shishya. So it had small gurukuls. Again, a very completely unstructured way of doing things, but that was the era. And then it was followed quickly by the Buddhist era, wherein a few uh, things started to get institutionalized. A semblance of universities, the way we understood it, started happening. So we had the Takshashila University, Nalanda University, and these quickly came up. And then the British colonial period started, and this is the more recent era in the last 250 years, wherein the British brought in their Western ideologies, wherein they imbibed the Western education systems, and they brought that to India. So they founded some of the central universities as we know today. The universities in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras, they were all founded in the same year, 1857. And this is also why Britishers played a crucial role in bringing English as the medium of instruction, and therefore now India is known as one of the countries with one of the highest English speaking population in the world. But the thing started picking up momentum right after the independence, because soon after independence, a few years later, in the first government, the UGC was established in 1956, And along with that, there were all the central institutions or the institutes of national eminence as we know today, like the IITs, IIMs, and AIMS were set up. And of course, there were a series of expansion from 1950s to 80s, and it continued till 2020s, because as we stand today, there are 20 IITs, right? When initially there were only three. Similarly, the same was the case with IIMs and other premier institutes. So the era of 1980s to 2000 had largely to do with diversification and expansion. But the problem with the central universities or the institutes of national eminence is that while we had a humongous population, there were hardly like less than 100 institutes, right? This will definitely not serve the needs of the country, and therefore some open universities were set up, because the universities as they stand today or back then did not have the capacity to address so many students. So therefore the concept of open universities began, distance education began, and this was again this took over in the 1980s and 1990s. And then the latest most contemporary period would be the 2000s, wherein there's a huge, now that you have access to education, wherein you have a lot of or lot like increase in the number of institutes. However, the quality was a big issue. So there is a huge focus on quality, and it came with accreditations, rankings, and certifications. For this is, and this came with recognition as well, right? Like for example, you would have heard NAC recognized or NARF ranked or QS ranked, and therein brought the focus of quality. And this is also the period of time when students also became very aware about what are the challenges, and what are the how do they choose go about choosing an institute. Earlier it was much more simpler, because there were very few handful of institutes and very few seats, so there was no question of choosing. But in today's world, you have a lot number of institutions, as we will see in the next slide. So, but yeah, largely we will be presenting this in in the coming section. Hopefully, in the next 15-20 minutes, we will give you a few insights that you will take away from here, and hopefully you'll implement some of these in your institute. So, one, we will look at the current state of higher education in India in the last 10-15 years. How have things been evolving? We will do a double click on that. And then, what are some trends of internationalization? As there's a lot of craze among students to go abroad and study abroad, and vice versa. There are some students who are interested to come to India and study as well. So we will explore that. What role does technology play in higher education? Again, more of a recent phenomenon. Technology, it's the latest buzzword. What role is it playing to leverage higher education in India? And then finally, we will see what role is the government playing, because they, while at a policy level, they have come up with a national education policy recently, but how practical is it, and how likely is it to be implemented, and what kind of implications will it have for institutions? We will look at that as well. So, like I said, if we double click in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, how things have changed just between the years 2012 and 2022, right? The number of universities have doubled. So, from 600 universities, we have now almost 1200 universities, right? And the interesting thing is that 209 out of the 600 were privately managed, but 478 out of 1200 are privately managed, which means that more than double the number was increased in private institutes, which means that private institutes are increasing in the way they are in the number of institutes that are being offered. For example, the proportion of institutes in higher education from private is went up from 75% to 79. And then if even if you look at colleges as well, the same trend exists, right? 75% were privately managed, and as of 2022, 79% are privately managed. So therefore we can see that the role of private sector is increasing. And as is evident that as I was mentioning a little while ago, that the options for students is only increasing, right? It's the same thing, like uh, you have smartphones right today, and you have so many apps, so you do not, and the same function can be done by a lot of apps. right? Whether it's food delivery, whether it's transportation, cabs, etc. So similarly, there are a plethora of options, and plethora of options in terms of number of institutes, and then there are a lot of other variables like what discipline to choose and what degree to choose, etc. And so while we have made progress as a country, right, in terms of number of students pursuing higher education, the gross enrollment ratio is still low, right? It's much lower compared to other countries. You look at United States or South Korea, Russia, China, all of them are way above 50%, 70%, and we are still hovering around 20%, right? And if you look at the national educational policy, it clearly outlines that we are, at least our GER, the gross enrollment ratio, needs to achieve 50% in higher education by 2035. So that is less than 10 years left, right? So, and we are hovering around 28% as of 2022, and it is even lower than the world average, which is around 40%. So clearly, there is a requirement, and the government is doing it at a policy level. Although there is a lot of requirement from the college level, also from institutes that need to play a greater role in attracting students in order to improve our GER. And this is something that will happen, right? We are seeing that the trend is that it's going up. The female participation is also going up, and as well as the overall participation, which means that there is a very clear trend that is observed, that in the coming years it will go up from 29%, 28%, 40%, and 50%, which means that there are a lot more students that are going to join the workforce, that are going to join the higher education system, which means that they will be joining the colleges that are already existing and some new colleges that might come up. So therefore, the competition between colleges for quality students will also intensify. So therefore, there are a lot more efforts that colleges are required to do in order to attract students. So another dimension to quality of students is that the competition is not just in within India itself, right? It's two pronged. So one is internally, and the second is externally, because students are pursuing opportunities abroad to because there is the aspirational value attached to it, that one wants to go to US or UK or Australia or Canada to pursue a degree there, and then they want to continue working there and earning dollars, etc. So because of that, there's a very clear trend that around 13 lakh Indian students, right, are going abroad every year, right? That's a huge number of, although right now the students going abroad is largely for masters or PG courses. Soon the trend might change, so because as things are becoming easier, as it's becoming accessible to apply for colleges abroad, even for UG courses, there's an uptick in the number of students choosing to go abroad for UG and PG courses. So therefore, the competition is not just in-house, it's also outside. And interestingly, when we look at the reverse trend or the converse trend as to the number of foreign students coming to India, that is much fewer, right? Only about 40,000 foreign students came to India in the year, in last year, for example, as opposed to 13 lakh students who chose to go outside. So therefore, there's a huge disparity in the number of students coming to India as opposed to going out. So clearly, while the government is doing some initiatives like Study in India to attract more students, foreign students, however, I think we have a long way to go. And there are a few more steps that the Indian government has been taking. So now, international universities are not just a threat. I mean, it would be wrong to look at it as a threat, but at the end of the day, we are all in educational institutions, right? And we are all competing for the best of the best in terms of students, in terms of faculty, in terms of research outcomes, and
డేట్
overall.
అది చేంజ్ చేయమన్నారు ఎవరికి కొత్తదానిక
Hello.
Sorry, someone.
అగ్రిమెంట్ లో డేట్ చేంజ్
Hello.
చేయమని సమయకి
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Please go on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Pardon the interruption. So as I was saying that, so it would be wrong to look at foreign universities as a threat, but at the end of the day, all institutes, even the 60 odd institutes on this very call, representatives from all the institutes, they're all competing, because especially the admissions representatives will understand and will agree with me that the students are the same, right? You all want the same top cream of the students. And now the one aspect was that students choosing to go abroad to pursue foreign degrees. Now foreign universities are stepping setting up their base in India, and Indian government is making it easier for foreign university to set up. So there are two aspects to this. One is Indian universities itself, like some of the very well-known brand names like VIT, SRM, and BITS Pilani, etc. They are setting up satellite campuses, right? And then you have, on the other hand, some foreign universities, let's say like Deakin University and University of Southampton. They are setting up their campuses in India, and I'm not talking about partnership, right? So international universities forging partnerships and collaborations with Indian universities to do twinning programs or dual degrees, that's a different dimension. But I'm talking about a very direct entry, wherein without any other stakeholders except for the foreign university itself, they are setting up directly and they're attracting students by setting up a satellite campus. And government, although the government is trying to, right now it's very limited to a small geographical area. For example, the government is promoting Gift City, right? However, things might spiral and more universities might be interested, and as it is, there are more applications being received. And I understand that there's one more university that is about to be set up in Gurgaon. So similarly, more universities might come. So the long and short of it is that the competition is not dying down. It's, in fact, it's only the opposite, because we are getting more well-known universities, foreign universities, and as well as Indian universities setting up their satellite campuses all across the country. So therefore, this presents a kind of a threat to the smaller local institutes, because the local institutes, while they are very well renowned locally, they may not be able to compete with the behemoths that are some of these iconic brand names. So there is that. This is one of the other challenges. Now, one other critical issue that we see in higher education is that how do you integrate technology and artificial intelligence, right? So, a lot of trends that are being observed is that a lot of local institutes are still not shifting their ways, right? Like institutes that have lasted for 20, 25, 30 years are still working in a very uh, uh, disconnected way, right? And especially the surprising thing is some of these are technological institutes. They are meant to teach technology and they're completely disconnected from the real world because they're very outdated. So there's a huge it is the need of the hour that institutes also gear up themselves, one on leveraging technology to update themselves, and two on offering school degrees or minors in some of the emerging areas of technology such as generative AI or machine learning and so on and so forth, so as to improve the learning experience of students. And of course, as you know, technology can also help with improving insights. The way data is everywhere, right? So when we're collecting data, with tools like AI, it will help us give. It'll create some decision enabling and empowering insights, and without which you will be in the dark. You will be taking decisions in the dark. So therefore, technology is one aspect to which institutes have to open themselves to. And the final dimension of this presentation is the NEP. As discussed before, NEP is very ambitious, and while it acknowledges a lot of the challenges that we have discussed, some of which we have discussed in this presentation, and the government wants to transform the higher education sector, and some of the notable goals are that they want to increase the GER to 50% from the existing 28%, and then education will also be multidisciplinary instead of single disciplinary education that is happening right now. and with a lot of overlap of internationalization, in which also results in a better output for research, improving quality of teaching, and also promoting technology, right? So some of these aspects, while NEP is, as of today, it's a guideline document, right? But soon things will be uh, uh, things will be mandated, and institutes will be expected to comply sooner or later. So what would be better is if institutes thoroughly read up NEP and align themselves to NEP to the extent possible, because sooner or later the change is coming. So this is where we come here. While we at the beginning, ma'am introduced me as an associate director from the education practice in PwC. Uh, uh, I'll also take you through a little bit as to what we do and why am I here, right? So we at PwC work exclusively with universities in India and abroad to transform their operations and to improve the way they work, right? And I mean, complete end-to-end solutions we provide to universities, regardless of whatever is the opportunity that is lying. We help them seize the day. So some aspects of the solutions that we provide are: one is university transformation, and this is not just university. We have helped smaller institutes, newer institutes that have just been set up about 10 years ago to drive transformation, to optimize their growth, right, and improve their sustainability and make them financially prudent. And also across the entire chain of the university, at the end of the day, it's an organization, right? An organization needs to function with the right set of people, with the right set of skill sets, and the right set of processes. So anywhere you falter, I think the entire organization structure falls apart. So therefore, the need to optimize the process and need to optimize the right set of people and the skill sets that they bring. And that is where we help by bringing operational efficiencies across value chains, across the processes, and we rectify wherever there are bottlenecks. We address them, and we improve the final output, and therefore we streamline the workflows and help build a cohesive institutional structure. And another aspect is rankings. Like I was saying, uh, you know probably 20 years back, rankings would not have been as relevant a topic, right? But in the world that we are living in today, where there's a mushrooming of new institutes, each day there are more institutes being set up, new universities, new colleges being set up, and some being shut down precisely because they're unable to face the competition. There is a requirement for institutes to be at least have the perception that they're serious about the rankings and accreditation process. And this is another aspect where we help institutes across their NAC ratings, NARF or QS, THE, international rankings. That's the next big bet. So we help them identify the right strategy to tackle these aspects, and how to address, how to apply to these rankings, what is the best way, what is the best performance, how to enhance performance in what areas, because at the end of the day, resources are limited. You cannot improve performance across, like it is very easy to say, okay, you need to improve your ranking, you need to improve it across all areas. But we're all aware that institutes in India are struggling with resources. So we find the right set of optimal resources, and we pick the areas, we prioritize what is most important, and accordingly we help craft a strategy that will help the institute perform well in rankings and accreditations. Apart from this, there are other key areas where we help institutes, like we help them with their research outcomes by setting up centers of excellence in the areas that they are interested in, or the areas that are emerging, and there will be a lot of research publications and citations. Assistance in setting up industry partnerships, university collaborations, and geographical expansion, bringing in alumni placement quality cells, because while institutes work fine the way they are, however, some additional impetus is required, and some organizational restructuring is required to do the same things in a much more streamlined and cleaner way. And finally, technology integration. So across the length and breadth of education, we have the expertise of serving institutes, and some of the notable institutes, most of the logos on the screen you would probably discover or recognize. So like we have worked with a range of international Indian private and government institutes, as well as government departments as well, central and state. So that, in a nutshell, is this presentation. I hope some of these insights were able to help you discover, what is the path that we have taken, and how to proceed going forward. I mean, I will be happy to address any questions. My colleagues are also here, so if any of you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. For your insights were profoundly informative and genuinely inspiring, providing invaluable guidance for navigating the ever-evolving landscape of education and career opportunities. The clarity and depth with which you highlighted emerging pathways have made a lasting impact, leaving us all with fresh perspectives and actionable strategies for the future. Sir, let's before moving on to the question answer sessions, there is an important announcement to all the participants of the event. So we are excited to announce our upcoming education summit scheduled for December 4th to 6th. So we warmly invite each of you to join us in making this event a success. For all those interested in delivering a session, we welcome your expertise. Please fill in the forms that is made available in the chat box to share your views on today's event and the upcoming education summit. Please note that participation certificate will be issued to those who share their valuable feedback. Yes, any questions from the audience?
No, there are some queries raised already. No, I think you can put across some queries we have received from the input application form. Can you please?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Himalay, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah. Can you please let me know?
Basically, One second, Himalay. See, basically now there is a lot of thrust in terms of the perception, which is really bothering all the higher education institutions participating in NIRF. Okay.
Yes.
So few institutions, of course, the Times and the QS ranking kind of thing. But for NIRF, as far as NIRF is concerned, perception is the area where many of them are suffering, and they have got a lot of apprehensions also. Can you please show some light on that? How an institution can increase their perception?
Sure. Sure, sir. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Thank you for the question. In fact, sir, this question is probably one of the most asked questions, because if you look at the NRF ranking methodology, almost every other ranking parameters and subparameters have a proper methodology. There's a objective formula to it, right? There's a way to arrive at the marks. So, but this one aspect, perception, which has about 10% of the weightage, this is not clear, right? So we do have some understanding, having worked with various universities, that there are some surveys that are undertaken, right, by universities, the surveys undertaken by NIRF, right? It is administered to some eminent academicians within the country, and they receive this link, and they are asked a bunch of questions, and you are supposed to choose the top of the mind institutes that are coming to your mind when you think of, let's say, institutions that are excelling academically, institutions that are excelling in research, etc., right? So it's a very tricky thing, because it depends on the, I mean, this is like I said, even NIRF has not made it very clear. They've just said that this is a survey based question. We will be reaching out to employers, we will be reaching out to academicians, and we will be reaching out to some alumni, right? All of them will be quizzed about what they feel and which institute best represents, which is, has the best, enjoys the best perception, and therefore it is ranked. So one of the things that institutes can do to do better is that these surveys are undertaken at a specific period of time in the year, right? Let's say from September, October, November. This is a period of time. Let's say that this is a time that when the surveys are being administered. So institutes can do an outreach. They can do some PR, right? They can reach out to some, some PR cell or some PR organization who can help them craft a a good PR strategy, which will help them publish some of the achievements, highlight it in the papers, highlight it in the research journals, highlight it in the social media, so that some of the people who will be giving these surveys, whether it's the alumni, whether it's the employers, or whether it's the academicians, they will probably think of it hard, because they would have just come across something either on social media or in the newspaper or in somewhere else. So top of the mind recall is one of the ways that institutes can do. However, that is definitely a tactic. It's not really a strategy, because if you want a more strategic, long-term, sustainable way to do it, the best way to do it is to excel. And by excelling at the rest of the other parameters and sub-parameters, which are being given 90% weightage, I think if you do well there, naturally perception will also improve. So, yeah.
Very particularly, see, for even NIRF or NAC or for any that criteria for that matter in quality indicative frameworks,
Yeah.
student admissions is the main criteria and crux. If you see
Right.
the Indian scenario, almost all, I think around 30 to 40% seats are unfilled at higher educational institutions. And it is more in PG, post-graduation, as you rightly mentioned, at about 13 lakh students going abroad,
Yes.
and 40,000 students coming back to India. So it means many number of seats are unfilled in the post-graduation courses particularly. Okay, and even then higher education, undergraduation also. Can you please suggest the way out how institutions can reach out to the students? Okay, first the quantity, then quality. Of course, quality is really a matter, but quantity is also another matter. So some of the participants really worrying how
Absolutely.
to increase. Yeah. What are the measures that they have to take? Yes, sir, please.
Absolutely. So, I think, sir, you're rightly, very valid point that while definitely quality is the criterion, but until and unless the university or the institute is able to sustain itself financially, right, there's no question of quality. So you need that quantity, and quantity is a stepping stone for quality, right? So on that, I am with you. However, there is again no shortcut here, right? You need a good word of mouth. You need your students are your students, and your alumni are your best brand ambassadors. So when the students step inside their institute, what kind of experience are they going through, right? So student experience is one important component which is often ignored, which is not probably rated or ranked in any of the ranking mechanisms. However, student experience and alumni, therefore alumni engagement, these are two of the biggest tools, because nobody is a better person to judge a university or an institute rather than the student who spent 4 years there, right? So you ensure that the student is having a good experience, expose them to good faculty members, right? One of the biggest pain points of students is that the college is good, the infrastructure is good, but the faculty members are not able to engage me, right? So I'm struggling with the content, the subject, or I've lost interest in the subject itself, which is even more dangerous. So one aspect is definitely student experience. The second is faculty. So getting good faculty members, I understand, again, with the mushrooming of so many institutes, it is probably very difficult to attract and retain good faculty members. However, what I would suggest is definitely have a few very good faculty members that you can call star faculty, right? In each department, there should be at least one or two faculty members who students will hold a high regard for, right? And interestingly, speaking of faculty members,
So
a lot of faculty members do not like a completely, yeah.
We will take the experiences of our participants. They're also well experienced. May I request the admin? Can you
Sure.
please unmute the participants' mic, audio
Yes, sir.
mic? Yeah. Please take some messages are there in the chat, and you can also ask them to unmute their mic, or you facilitate the unmute mic, and they will
Yes.
talk. Yeah. So anybody
Yes.
if anybody would like to exchange your views and opinion on this, yeah, you can please unmute your mic and speak, please. May I
Yes.
start with Mr. Kabelian, Dr. R. Kabelian, or Dr. Shailendra Kumar? Yeah. I think please mute someone is someone.
Hello.
Yeah, please, Salapudi, please
Hello.
mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Salapudi, mute your mic.
Sir.
Hello.
Hello, madam.
Yes,
Please
sir. Yes.
take care. Wherever you are getting the surrounding noise, please mute them. Yeah, I think Dr. Sudhakar wants to speak. Please unmute him.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please,
Sir,
Sudhakar.
myself, Dr. Sudhakar, sir. I'm from Kshatriya College of Engineering. I would like to share a few words in this occasion, sir. Currently, I'm a research fellow of India International University, Malaysia. When I visited this university in the last year, November time, I found the concept of internationalization of education, especially like ranking in Times Higher Education and QS rankings have becoming very crazy, and that is going to next 10-15 years everywhere. That is only the criteria to choose the international education. That is the only criteria the students will go and they will choose, and finally they will select their college. So this is going to be the trend in the next upcoming decade. So no institution is exceptional to this particular parameter. In the next coming years, all the institutions has to go any of the ranking criteria, so that their sustainability is rest assured. Otherwise, the sustainability will become a bigger issue and a bigger challenging for all education institutions in India. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you mean the participating in ranking frameworks is must, and if possible, then they have to be placed in the ranking list. So that would be ideally good and suggestion. Great, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go with other guest, Dr. Shailendra Kumar. Dr. Shailendra Kumar, you please raise your hand. You madam, you have that facility?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, Dr. Shailendra Kumar.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Shailendra, Professor, School of Pharmacy, Assam Kaziranga University. Now, my question was whether the skills taught in India and their relevance for employment is in tune with the global skills what are taught in foreign universities and the employment what they are getting. I
Okay.
find there is a huge difference in what are the skill sets we are teaching to our students, and what are the skill sets foreign universities are providing to our students. So since there is a huge gap over there, I feel most of the students are moving abroad to get those skill sets and then come back to India. I feel there is a huge work that needs to be done in the kind of skill sets we need to provide to our students. Particularly in growing areas such as AI, machine learning. Since I belong to the pharmacy background, I feel the syllabus has not changed since 2014. We are still going for those textbook kind of knowledge, whereas the industry has grown rapidly. And not just in India, abroad also. Technology has gone twofold. Education parameters and the requirements in industry has gone many folds. But still, the level of education and the syllabus what we are following is still 2014. What you can say till 2014, we have not made any significant progress. So, what are your thoughts on it? I feel there is a huge gap, and that gap needs to be addressed.
Let us take from PwC. Sir, can you please explain what is the in-demand skill, actually? In-demand skill, how the foreign universities or foreign countries institutions are meeting that industry expectations and requirements. Why are we not able to meet that?
So there is a very simple funda behind this, sir. Thank you, Dr. Shailendra, for your question. So it's a very pertinent and valid question that Indian skill sets that Indian colleges are giving Indian students are not at all up to this mark compared to foreign universities. In fact, one of the studies that says that 55% of Indian students are not even employable. That is a major question mark or an exclamation mark on the state of the education system in India today. That Indian students are not employable, let alone let's say the some of the newer skill sets, but even the traditional skill sets we are falling behind on. But I would talk about this in a couple of different ways. One is when students are going abroad, you said that they go abroad and they come back. Most of them don't come back, right? Most of them prefer to stay there. And the reason why these foreign universities are able to excel is because of the industry collaborations. Now, industries there, they have set up their own cells, they have set up centers of excellence within the university. There is a technology transfer happening.
Listen
There's
to
a
this.
Yes.
55% of Indian students are
Yeah,
employable.
Miss D'Souza, Dr. D'Souza, can you please unmute? Can
They
you please
do
mute?
not have the
Please mute. D'Souza ji,
about
please mute.
Yes, sir.
oldest
Admin, if you can mute her, the
Yes,
better. Yeah,
yes,
please.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Himalayas.
So, yeah, like I was saying, that industry collaborations is one aspect where Indian institutes are falling behind. I think this is where Indian institutes can do better, because we have a local industry that we have to cater to as well, right? While it is good that Gen AI and machine learning, these are some of the newest latest buzzwords, but at the end of the day, we have to look at our own economy. And if students who study here have to work in our economy, then they have to be employable here. I think that should be the first priority. Definitely some of the higher skill sets that we have to achieve on par with foreign universities, which probably the best of the Indian universities should aspire for. But for the bulk of the other Indian universities or colleges, for them the priority should be to make sure that every student who is entering the college is in developing skill sets that will be relevant in the economy, in the job economy, so they will find a job, right?
Okay.
And like you yourself said, syllabus or the curriculum has not been updated. That is a challenge that has to be addressed. The curriculum needs to be updated, learning pedagogy needs to be updated, right? So there's a lot of transformation that needs to happen in the situation as of today. I agree with you on that.
I like to add some more points, like for example, internships. We have scope for internships in industries, but these industries are not coming forward. So ultimately, there are a lot many institutions, very less industries who are providing internship. In spite of the government guidelines, there are very few Indian companies which are coming forward to offer internships to the students.
Yeah, true, agree.
So, do you think anything change is going to be there in the mindset of the industries that they are going to provide some additional internships to the students?
So again, this
Yeah,
is
so one second, I will add. Your government of India recently brought one portal. There are 500 companies where students can apply for the internship into those companies. So you can just explore it in the Minister of Education portal.
Yes, I have gone through that declaration by the government, but most of the companies over there were for IT companies. There are a lot
Okay.
many areas that needs to be addressed. Pharmaceuticals are there, biotechnology is there, chemistry is there. There are a lot many areas that needs to be addressed.
Good, sir. We will definitely, this is also another area where we have to concentrate. We will write to them back as our feedback. That would definitely help the government also to rope in the CI, then a FICCI kind of thing. Thank you, sir. Then Mr. Dubey, if anyone would like to participate in the discussion, please raise your hand. Or you can please raise your hand. I'm not finding any. Yeah, director. Okay. If you can raise your hand, then we will allow the mic. Other participants, if anybody is interested, please raise your hand. We will allow the mic. I think, yeah, it is not there. No one is there. So, shall we conclude with
Yes.
the invitation for education? Yeah, one few minutes. I think my colleague will present about our upcoming education summit. We are organizing one education summit, online education summit, to connect the prospective students with the universities to help them to get more admissions process. Yeah, you are there, Shipra? Ms. Sipra,
Yes,
yes,
could
sir.
could you
Yes,
could you
sir.
could yeah, please start your presentation. Please.
Yes, sir.
You go with presentation mode. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I hope my screen is visible to everyone and I am audible.
Very much. Please go ahead.
So before I start, I would like to thanks to each one of you for taking out the time from your busy schedule to attend this session. Thank you so much. As Monica has always already given the introduction about us, so I think I will skip that introduction and directly come to the point, that is Online Education Summit. So basically this summit is we are organizing this event on 4th, 5th and 6th of December. And the purpose of this Online Education Summit is to connect to the students with the universities from the comfort of their home across India. By using our platform, that is talktocolleges.com, universities can showcase their unique offerings such as trending courses, merit scholarship, financial assistance, and campus tour. They will be having the opportunity to grab the students' attention and attract the students for the admissions of 2025. So I will just show you the portal. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. This is our portal. Once you log into your profile, all universities can access these details. So there is facilities of video gallery, photo gallery, course and fees, placement records, testimonials, then admissions, talk to professor, apply for admissions, send inquiry and feedback. Institutes can add their videos that can attract the students and show their campus tour and events, all those details. Then photo gallery is another option, as you can see here. Then about all the trending courses, like AI and then machine learning, all BTech specialization, MBA courses, all those courses can be shown here. You can show here. Placement record is another opportunity to grab the attention of the students. Then testimonials of alumni students, and then students who have been successful, and they can show the a positive side of the university and benefits to get the enrollment done. Then you can upload the brochure. There is another facility by the universities wherein students can directly talk to the professor and they can have the clarity about the courses, programs, and the universities. Students can apply to the admission particular course, and students will be and institutions will have the opportunity to track the students inquiry, application form, and the time they have spent on the particular college. Then students can give the feedback and institution can track it accordingly. So basically, it's a platform where all the universities can show the trending courses and then scholarship opportunities. They can show their campus to attract the huge pool of students, and same time students will also will be benefited by the procedures of that. They will be getting to communicate directly to the institution experts, like there will be no mediator or something. They can directly connect to the university representative and know the procedure of the admission. They can send the inquiry, they can submit the application form, they can know the online admission process and everything. Hence once they get the all the information, it will help them to take the right decision for their career or higher studies. So this is it. If you have any questions, you guys can ask me.
Thank you, Shipraji. Okay, Monica, you can please conclude with the thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, thank you. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our director, sir himself, Shri K. Venkatesh Garu, our speaker of the day, Himalay sir, Deb sir, all the admission officers, PROs, higher educational officers. So, for your active involvement and invaluable contributions to today's event. So, again, a quick reminder to all the participants. Please, those who are interested in delivering a session, we welcome your expertise. You can just fill in the form that has been made available in the chat box. Also, the participation certificates will be issued. So I would thank my colleague Shipra ma'am, all the participants again. So as we conclude today's gathering, we look forward to your invaluable contributions at the summit and to the collaborations that lie ahead. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
பண்ணி